I'm 68 years old, and I've wasted more time than you've probably been alive. I don't say that to impress you. I say that because it's the truth. And the truth is something I wish someone had told me 50 years ago. See, I spent half a century doing everything the hard way. Every lesson life had to teach me, I learned it through pain, through failure, through losing things I can never get back. And now, sitting here with grey hair and bad knees, and more regrets than I'd like to admit, I want to give you something I never had. I want to give you the shortcut. Not a shortcut to success, not a shortcut to money, a shortcut to understanding. Because here's what nobody tells you. Life doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. Most of the suffering we go through, we bring on ourselves. Most of the pain we carry, we choose to carry. And by the time you figure that out, you've already lost decades. I grew up poor in a small town. My father worked in a factory. My mother cleaned houses. And from the time I was old enough to understand anything, I understood one thing clearly. I was not going to end up like them. I was going to be somebody. I was going to make something of myself. I was going to prove to everyone who ever looked down on us that I was worth something. And you know what? I did it. I got out. I went to college. First one in my family. I got the degree. I got the job. I climbed the ladder. By 40 I was making more money in a year than my father made in 10. I had the house, the car, the title. I had everything I thought I wanted. But here's the thing nobody warned me about. I was so busy trying to prove I was worth something that I forgot to ask myself a simple question. Who was I trying to prove it to? And why did I need to prove anything at all? That's the first shortcut I want to give you. Stop trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter. Stop living your life as a response to people who doubted you, or looked down on you, or told you that you weren't good enough. Those people are living rent-free in your head, and they're not even thinking about you anymore. I spent 30 years trying to prove something to a kid from high school who made fun of my shoes once. 30 years. That kid probably doesn't even remember my name, but I built an entire identity around showing people like him that they were wrong about me. You want to know the shortcut? Stop caring. Not in a cold, detached way, but in a free way. Liberate yourself from the opinion of people who don't actually matter to your life. The only approval you need is your own. The only person you need to prove anything to is the person looking back at you in the mirror. The second thing I learned the hard way is that money solves money problems. And that's about it. I chased money for decades. I sacrificed weekends, holidays, family dinners, my kids' school plays. I told myself I was providing for my family. I told myself they would understand one day. I told myself the money would make up for my absence. It didn't. My daughter once told me something that hit me like a punch to the chest. She said, "Dad, I don't remember the things you bought me. I remember the times you weren't there." She wasn't being mean. She was just being honest. And her honesty broke something open in me that I had kept locked away for years. I had been telling myself a story about what a good provider I was. But the people I was providing for didn't want more things. They wanted more of me. And I wasn't available because I was too busy chasing a number that was never going to be enough. Here's the shortcut. Money is a tool, not a destination. Once you have enough to cover your needs and some of your wants, more money doesn't equal more happiness. Studies prove this. Experience proves this. But we don't believe it until we've wasted years proving it to ourselves. Spend time with your kids now. Call your parents now. Take the trip now. Don't wait until you've hit some magic number in your bank account, because I promise you, that number will change. You'll get there, and you'll move the goalpost. That's what humans do. We're never satisfied. So stop waiting for satisfaction and start living while you still can. The third lesson cost me my first marriage. I thought being right was more important than being happy. I would argue about everything. Politics, money, parenting, what restaurant to go to, where to hang the picture frame. If there was a disagreement, I needed to win it. I needed to prove that I was right and she was wrong. And I won a lot of arguments. I also lost my wife. The shortcut is this. Being right doesn't matter as much as you think it does. What matters is connection. What matters is understanding. What matters is making the people in your life feel heard and valued, even when you disagree with them. You can be right, or you can be in a relationship. Often you cannot be both. I'm not saying compromise your values. I'm not saying let people walk all over you. But pick your battles. Ask yourself, is this really worth fighting about? Is proving this point worth the damage it might cause? Most of the time the answer is no. Most of the time the thing you're arguing about won't matter in a week, a month, a year. But the resentment you create might last a lifetime. The fourth thing took me decades to understand. And it changed everything. You cannot control what happens to you. You can only control how you respond. I used to think life was something that happened to me. Good luck, bad luck, success, failure. All these things were external forces acting on my life, and I was just reacting to them. But that's not how it works. Life throws things at you, sure. Some fair, some unfair. Some random, some deserved. But what you do with those things, how you interpret them, what meaning you give them, that's entirely up to you. That's your power. That's the only power you actually have. I had a business fail in my late 40s. Lost everything. And for years I called it the worst thing that ever happened to me. I played the victim. I blamed the economy, my partners, the timing. I was angry and bitter, and that anger and bitterness poisoned everything else in my life. Then one day, I realized something. That failure taught me more than any success ever did. It showed me who my real friends were. It forced me to reevaluate what I actually wanted from life. It led me eventually to a new path that brought me more fulfillment than anything I had done before. The event didn't change, my interpretation of it changed, and that made all the difference. Here's the shortcut. You get to choose the story you tell about your life. You can be a victim, or you can be a hero on a journey. Same events, different narrative. The story you choose will shape everything that comes after. The fifth lesson is simple but devastating. Time moves faster than you think. When you're young, time feels infinite. A year is an eternity. A decade is unimaginable. But something happens as you get older. Time starts to accelerate. Birthdays come faster. Seasons blur together. You blink and suddenly you're 50. You blink again and you're 68. I wasted so much time. Not doing nothing, but doing the wrong things. Worrying about problems that never materialized. Holding grudges against people I can't even remember now. Postponing joy until some future date that kept getting pushed back. The shortcut is brutal but necessary. You're going to die. I know that's uncomfortable to hear, but it's true. And the people you love are going to die. And none of us knows when. So what are you waiting for? What are you putting off? What conversations are you avoiding? What dreams are you postponing? Do it now, not tomorrow, not when you're ready, not when the time is right. The time is never right. The time is now. Whatever it is, start. Call the person. Take the trip. Write the book. Say I love you. Stop waiting for a perfect moment that doesn't exist. The sixth lesson is about forgiveness, and it's one I resisted for most of my life. I held on to anger like it was protecting me. People who wronged me, who hurt me, who let me down, I kept mental files on all of them. I thought holding on to that anger was a way of maintaining justice. Like if I forgave them, I was letting them get away with something. But here's what I finally understood. Holding on to anger doesn't hurt the other person. It hurts you. It's like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. That anger lives in you. It takes up space. It steals your peace. And the person you're angry at is probably not thinking about you at all. The shortcut is forgiveness. Not for them, for you. Let it go. Not because what they did was okay, but because carrying it is destroying your present and poisoning your future. Forgiveness is freedom. It took me 50 years to understand that. You don't have to take that long. The seventh and final lesson is the simplest, and probably the most important. Happiness is not something you find, it's something you practice. I spent decades thinking happiness was waiting for me somewhere, at the top of the career ladder, in the perfect relationship, in the dream house, in retirement. But every time I got to where I thought happiness was waiting, it wasn't there. It had moved somewhere else. That's because happiness isn't a destination. It's not something external that you acquire. Happiness is a practice. It's a choice you make every single day. It's gratitude. It's presence. It's appreciating what you have instead of always chasing what you don't. I'm happier now, at 68, than I was at 38, with more money, more status, more of everything. Why? Because I finally learned to be present, to appreciate small things. A cup of coffee in the morning, a conversation with my grandchild, a sunset I actually stopped to watch instead of rushing past. The shortcut is this: stop waiting to be happy. Choose happiness now. Practice gratitude now. Find joy in what you already have now. Because if you can't be happy with what you have, you won't be happy with more. 50 years. That's how long it took me to learn these lessons. 50 years of mistakes, failures, wrong turns, and wasted time. I can't get those years back. But maybe if you're listening, you can save yourself some of that pain. Maybe you can take the shortcut instead of the long way around. Stop trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter. Understand that money solves money problems and nothing else. Choose connection over being right. Take responsibility for your story. Treat time like the precious limited resource it is. Forgive, not for them, but for you. And practice happiness instead of chasing it. That's it. That's 50 years of wisdom in 10 minutes. I hope you actually hear it. I hope you don't do what I did, what most people do, and wait until it's almost too late to figure this out. You have choices I didn't know I had. You have wisdom I had to learn through suffering. Don't waste it. If this meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. And subscribe, because I have more lessons to share, and honestly I don't know how much time I have left to share them. The shortcut is right in front of you. The question is, are you going to take it?